Well, hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, your currently unnamed podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come here first to quench your thirst. And hello, faithfuls. I'm one of your traders this week, Brook. It is a pleasure to be in your presence. I am passionate about pop culture. It's been an interesting season of the traders, and I'm really excited to see who else is joining me in the turret today.
It's me, David Healy.
It's
my debut appearance for the Traitors US this season. You all been recording when I'm at work, so now it's a little changing of the schedule. I've been able to join, so I am here, and I'm drinking some water.
Awesome. I'm also drinking some water, riding the Walmart Great Value Express. Thank you so much, Walmart. But if we weren't drinking it already in our pre-bottle things, we'd be drinking it in our cup mug. And yours can get your cup mug at laundrycreations.etsy.com. Link is in the description down below. So hi.
Hey, what's up?
We have our third trader here.
Yes. My name's B. Nice to meet you guys. You could catch me on the Love Island All-Stars coverage, but I had to jump on this Traitors because I am loving this season so far, and I got some hot takes that I want to spill.
You know, I'm always down for a good hot take because usually that's my job on the panel. So, if I have to be the straight person host today, which all three of those things are just really tough for me, straight person and host, then somebody else can supply the hot takes. That's fine. So we are talking about episode 8 of season 3 of the Traitors US today. Specifically, B with several stars is lying. We all know what Sierra said.
I thought you meant this
yes.
B. Yeah.
Yeah.
A B star is lying.
Yes.
And also David's probably happy because they censored it, and I know David's not a big fan of language.
They didn't censor it in the episode. No, but that's a word I will say. I got my bad words, my BAD words, bitch, ass, damn. I can say that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because what can we curse on this? Maybe not too much. I'll try to dial it back.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So we're coming off the heels of another traitor being banished, being Boston Rob has been sent out the castle. Thank God. Yes, God. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I mean, he is good TV. I'm not going to say thank God. I would prefer him over some people, but I still was rooting against him. It's fun to have somebody to root against.
I'm just a Bob the Drag Queen fan, and therefore I have a certain way I have
to.
Well, me too, but Bob didn't do themselves any favors.
No, not at all.
Bob was messy. Bob was messy and loud, and Bob was doing entirely too much. I think he and I love Bob too, but he was doing entirely too much. It was like, dude, like you have to have some kind of finesse too. You can't just be yapping like that,
Exactly.
And I think like Boston Rob was right to if I hear that and I'm Boston Rob and you painting a target on like the 3 dudes or whatever, yeah, you could go.
I agree, and I was surprised the girls didn't understand his logic for it. Like, I prefer Carolyn and Danielle, obviously, but I'm like, you all don't understand why?
See, I get it, but that doesn't mean I'm happy about it. You know what I mean?
True.
Like I get why Rob did what they did. I get why how Bob was playing was not great, but that doesn't mean I didn't want Bob on my screen still. Yeah. Like in a perfect world, Bob was playing the same game that Carolyn is playing right now, and everything would be fine. But things are not all right with the world, so it is what it is.
I think Rob's mistake, it was great to get Bob out after that comment, but to be the person spearheading it, and with such confidence, that was his mistake.
That's where he got chopped. Mm-hmm.
Well, he shouldn't have said anything at that round table. They would have gotten rid of Bob anyway at that point.
Well, he was waiting. He was waiting because I think, was it Wes that was supposed to speak up? And then Wes, or no, it was Dylan.
Dylan, yeah.
And Dylan wasn't really speaking up. So Rob's like, I guess I have to do it.
But beside the point, Bob's been gone. Rob is now gone. So we're down to 2 traitors in the castle with 8 faithful remaining. 9 faithful before the murder. So, as we know, our two traitors, Carol and Danielle, are going to have to be murdering face to face tonight. This should be how they do it every week, but that's
Loved
beside
it.
the
I
point.
agree.
Why do we not do it face to face? Like, they're murdered. It's not like they're going to be able to go run and tell people who the traitors are. Just like, it's more drama.
My only guess is they're like, well, if we do that, then we won't have anything interesting for our bonus material where they look at the paper and find out who it is. I'm like, who cares? Like,
Well,
I'd rather have it in the episode.
True.
Well, yeah, but then you have the interesting part of the bonus material where the murdered player tells the banished player, if they weren't a traitor, who
True.
the traitors are. And then they have to be like, no, Carolyn's not a traitor, but she is. No, Carolyn's not a traitor. Like, that's how you get good bonus content. And honestly, the bonus content from this season has literally just been, I was robbed because I got murdered. Opens paper. Carolyn's a traitor. I thought Danielle might have been a traitor. I've vindicated that Boston Rob was a traitor.
Exactly.
And then I can talk to somebody else and we have the same opinions. Like, that's pretty much how the bonus material has been for like 3 weeks now.
Well, who did you all think they were going to murder face to face? Because I'll say first, they got me with the little clip of Tom like looking shocked. So I'm like, are they trying to throw me off, or are they like double bluffing me? And it really is Tom shocked because he's being murdered. But that was
I thought it was a throw off.
That was
I
before
thought
I
it was a
knew
throw
Alan
off.
would be coming in. So I'm sure he was just shocked seeing Alan come in.
Yeah,
I'm happy they did not murder Tom Sandoval.
Me
I'm gonna sit here and say on this podcast, I love Tom Sandoval. I do. I think he's hilarious.
Oh, Brook is going to hate
enjoyed
this,
him
but
on a lot of shows.
I'm really enjoying Tom too. Like, Tom is so
Me too.
entertaining to me.
I don't hate it. I'm just surprised that it's a sentence that is coming out of people's mouths. That's all.
Well,
Like,
I'll say I can't speak for B, but for myself, my only exposure to Tom before this was The Masked Singer. Like, that's the only time I've ever seen Tom, and his whole story on The Masked Singer was like, oh, everybody hates me for something I did. So I've heard about it like secondhand, but I don't know the person he cheated on. I've only seen him like on that show and this show, and he's really funny and goofy, and I don't know, he's probably one of the bigger surprises for me.
I've watched him. I watched Vanderpump. I don't think it's a big deal that he did what he did, to be honest. Like, that whole show is it's a very like incestuous group of friends. So it's like, it doesn't shock me that Ariana was the latest to get cheated on, especially if you watch like throughout the seasons, the way she would just like curve him. Like, I don't know. But anyway, I don't care about Ariana. But like Tom, I've watched him on Special Forces. He also did that show. And he was like cracked in that show. Like, he was losing his mind going through some of these challenges, but it was entertaining to watch. And like, I think in Traitors now, he's kind of been on a few different things. He's like getting into the swing of things. I think he's like coming into his own, and like, he's funny and quirky. Like, I've been enjoying him, to be honest. And like, I just to talk about who got murdered for a second, I was so happy that was the person that got murdered, because I was like, that person is the bad faithful that y'all are all trying to paint Tom to be. That's the person with the bad reads that needs to go, that's muddying the waters, that person. So I was glad that person got murdered tonight. I was waiting for this murder.
Yeah, I will be honest. When I was watching the preview for last week, I kind of narrowed it down to a few people. Chriselle was one of the people I thought they might murder, just based off of the opportunities that were there for murdering Chriselle. I also thought they might just go ahead and take out Dylan, because Dylan is one of those people that, even if he's not always right, he has a lot of presence at the round table. And if you take away that presence, a lot of these people are going to be trying to find a new shepherd to flock behind. But I ultimately think they did make the right decision, because they murdered Chriselle. I liked Chriselle. I enjoyed Chriselle on the season, but I also don't think she did anything like... I think it was the right call, personally.
She's not my favorite Bambi.
I can't stand Chriselle. I can't stand her on her show. I could not stand her on this show. I think, and then she gave us nothing as a reaction to being murdered. She was just like, "Oh, okay,"
right,
like, with her puppy dog. It's like, girl, give us some drama or something.
I thought
like,
the
you
same
were
thing.
gagged. Like you didn't even react.
I think in some respects she might have felt it coming, because one thing I didn't like about how they staged this was everybody was at the altar, and it was you turn around and you either see Alan or Danielle and Carolyn there to murder you, and you would have to think that they can hear the people's footsteps, and they can kind of know if it's one or two sets of footsteps, right? Like that's a big echoey church room, like a big echoey like church sanctuary. You would think that they would hear two sets of footsteps. Maybe that's just me, but like that kind of took me out of it a smidge.
Maybe I just know last week I was like, oh, this is what we need to do every week. I was like a big champion for it, and then I'm like, well, now they're not going to be like, oh yeah, we have to do this every week, because Chriselle really had no reaction and it was so boring.
I would love.
She was so boring.
I would love if they would do it in a way where only one of the traitors had to murder somebody, like face to face every week, and then some weeks it would be all of them just have to go, right? Like you decide which of the four of you is going to go murder Nikki Bella this week, whatever. So Chriselle's murdered, but before that we get a little bit of interesting content from Sam Asghari, which is a sentence I did not think I was ever going to be saying this season. The definition of furniture. But Sam mentions that he's just been listening and taking in as much info as he can, and that he's going to, connect the dots, and he's on some trails. But I mean, I've heard that before. But then he raises a really valid point. Tom Sandoval mentions that Alan was wearing like some really like designer like fashion items, right? He's like, well, then when somebody comes in, if they can't tell us what Alan was wearing, that means they probably didn't see Alan, which means that they're a traitor.
Ooh.
Where has this been all season?
And so he ate with that, and he was clocking. He woke up, he had his little eggs, and he was like, you know what? This is brain food right here. I'm about to start clocking and pinning down these traitors. Like, but yeah, he's been kind of out of it.
Kinda. What has he done? Like, I'm sorry, no shade, but like, I cannot tell you a single thing this man has done all season outside of get off the boat in the first challenge in the first episode. And like,
true,
I thought he should have been the first murder in that episode too, but that's just me. But I mean, I'll give him his 10s here. Brilliant idea.
Yeah,
like.
It is a brilliant idea. I mean, he doesn't know. The traitors have already seen Alan too, so they know what he was wearing. But in theory, that's a really good way to test people. Unfortunately, I don't think everybody else in the room completely understood the plan, because when Carolyn comes in, they start asking her, and I'm sure it was edited to make it look way worse than how she was really describing it. But it looked like she was a mess trying to describe it. And then Tom eventually he's like, he was wearing and then Sam's like, no, wait. And Tom's like, but he was wearing this. And I'm like, Tom, what are you doing?
He bailed her out there.
He really did.
Quality confessional time from Brittany Haynes will never be something I decline. She calls Tom Sandoval an effing idiot, which thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much.
I did like his quote. I was wound so tight. If I farted, only a dog could hear it.
Oh my gosh.
So so Chriselle is now gone. We are down to 10 people left in the castle. Woot woot. We're coming up on the end of the season, which is actually kind of crazy. But 4
episodes left in. Still.
What?
We're really just 2/3. We got 4 episodes to go.
Yeah, but one of those is the reunion.
Is it?
Okay.
Probably, I would guess. But Alan comes in, tells everybody that be a doll, make it quick, get outside, and Tom Sandoval does not understand that the doll thing was the clue, and everybody's making fun of Tom for it. Quality content, thank you so much. But then we go outside, and after a little bit of strategy, a little bit of scheming, seems like Carolyn and Danielle are kind of on the same page, a little bit, maybe this much on the same page, which for them is real progress.
I'm almost home too, by the way. So
awesome.
Yay.
Real progress there. Carolyn and Danielle almost kind of on the same page, but there's a little group of people, and they're asking Carolyn, "What was that about Danielle? A few roundtables ago? What were you talking about?"
Brook, we lost you. Did the traitors get him?
Oh, I still see Brook.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh my days, it's me.
It's you, I guess.
Regardless, Carolyn, Danielle, all that stuff. Oh, there goes B. She'll be back, folks. Don't worry. She's taking her little trip to the confessional. She'll be back in a few minutes. So Carolyn and Danielle, we've had the beef all season, but Carolyn, says, "Look, I'm trying to look out for Danielle at this point." Oh, there she is. I'm trying to look out for Danielle at this point. But at the end of the day, if they ask me a question, I'm going to tell them the truth, because that's going to look suspicious on me if I don't.
Yep. That's
great
fair.
reads again from Carolyn. She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
We also get a little note that people are going after Sierra because they're trying to figure out this whole coffin thing. If there's something to figure out in the coffin.
This dead, dried, tired ass theory. Like, give it a rest already. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm so furious about that.
Me too. And this is why I tell people all the time, the US version is not the superior version of the Traitors. It's because I've noticed, especially this season and last season, if somebody has their name come up at the round table, if they get some sort of sus on them in a fairly significant way, it's never going away. It is a death sentence. You can never escape it. You're going to get banished at some point. And it's so annoying because any other franchise, people can eventually shake it. People eventually can get away from that. But I just think the people who are getting cast for these shows, so many of them are just so like level one. And they're like, I can only think about this one thing that I've heard before. I can't let that go until I test it out. And it's so boring. It's so boring. Like, I mean, I can pretty much tell you like the next two people that are going, and like I don't want to feel that way watching the Traitors. It's so frustrating.
They don't need the money, so they're just like trying to buy themselves another week, and they're just on this like anybody but me train. But when it's people in the UK that are like, I'm trying to strategize and pivot and really find these traitors because I want to bring that check home, there's more stakes there. So I think that it's true. Like, these people cannot pivot like for
Never.
for anything. It's so infuriating. And oh my god, Chriselle with her bad reads, I'm so happy she's gone. Like, her and her, like, oh well, it's just a vibe. Your vibe was totally different. Like, you guys have bad reads. Leave the vibes at the door, okay? Don't bring vibes to the round table, because your vibes are all out of whack. All right. Sorry, that needed to be said.
So beyond any of that, because there's a lot going on in these little conversations. People are going to Sierra. Sierra is bringing up that Danielle and Brittany are really close, and she's got a little sus on Danielle with one of the best reads I've saw the season of, well, they murdered Jeremy at the coffins, and who was Jeremy talking about before he got murdered? Danielle. Why has no one brought this up yet? And I get from maybe the perspective of not everybody knew about the whole Jeremy situation, so not everybody can bring it up. Sierra, bring this up 2 weeks ago. Bring this up at the round table where you guys threw somebody else out after they killed Jeremy. I forget who offhandedly, to be honest with you. Well, that was when you guys got rid of Bob. Maybe the next week.
It was Nikki. Like, remember, Nikki was getting the heat that week.
Yeah, after they murdered Robin, why are you not talking about this at the next roundtable? Like, it's the timing of things for me with Sierra specifically, because her reads are good here, but where have they been?
My thing is, I'm not saying I don't think that's necessarily a good read. It is an accurate read, but it's so like basic thinking of the Traitors. And this is why Tom got very lucky, because Tom cannot get past the fact, oh, if somebody brings up your name and you're a traitor, you're going to get murdered. And that is not how the Traitors works for the most part. Rob was trying to like take it to the next layer because he knows people know that's not how it works. You don't just murder somebody because they say your name. That's why Tom was like, well, Dolores can't be a traitor because I would have been murdered. And I'm like, Tom, you have to think beyond that. That's not how the Traitors are going to do it most of the time. And that's not how Danielle's been playing it. Danielle has not been murdering people who've said her name necessarily. It just happened to be Jeremy. That's it.
Well, and here's the thing though, right? Sierra's read is accurate. I agree. Maybe it's not the best like logic for a read, but the thing with the Traitors is because the faithful have such little information to go off of on a semi-consistent basis, an accurate read to me is better than a lot of other things that they have thrown out. It's especially better than going after the damn coffin theory for the 50th time, which I'm sick of that crap. Which hopefully, no spoilers a little bit, but we don't have to worry about that for the rest of the season, I don't think. So there's that. But yeah, so we get through all of this big strategy hullabaloo outside, and we go to the mission for the day. So basically, they are going to be split into two groups. One of the groups will be going out to our good friend, the cabin in the woods, aka Dr. Will's vacation home. And half of them are going to be going out there to go find some dolls, and the other half are going to be staying in the castle. So the group that goes to the vacation house has to find 4 dolls that are speaking in reverse. They're speaking a nursery rhyme in reverse. They then have to listen to it, go to the phone, call the group in the castle, try to mimic the speech of the doll as accurately as they possibly can. The group in the castle then has to go to the library where there's this like little gramophone looking thing where they have to say the speech, play it in reverse. So they're reversing the reverse. So it should be playing the speech forwards. And then call the group at the cabin back, tell them what nursery rhyme the doll is singing. They then put the doll on a chair, tell Alan the name of the doll and what the doll is singing. And if that is correct, they get $5,000. And there are 4 dolls. So if they find all 4 of these dolls, they win $20,000. And there's only one shield in the entire mission, and it's at the cabin. So we end up seeing rock, paper, scissors, which was delightful for me. I thought that was hysterical. But we end up getting, notably, Tom Sandoval, Brittany, Carolyn, Sierra, and Ivar are at the cabin. Everybody else is in the castle. So only the 5 of them can get the shield. And then chaos ensues, because of course chaos ensues.
Yeah, this challenge they did in the UK.
These are my favorite challenges, I must say. Like, I love the ones where they have to call back to the house. Like, I love it, and every time they do it, it's just so funny to me.
Yeah, and this was so fun when they did it this season in the UK. But this group was significantly worse than the UK group in every way, in every aspect. It took them it took them over half of the time that they had to even find the first doll. And that's not even true, because I heard that row, row, row your boat doll very early in, and I'm like, why is nobody going and singing that in the phone? And the singing wasn't good. The singing into the gramophone wasn't good. Getting like the kind of like sound, like the words in reverse, nobody could do that. Even the bear clue, like immediately somebody found that when they found the bear clue in the UK. This group just was in shambles, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah. What ends up happening is the 5 people that go to the cabin, they hear the bear clue. Everyone is looking for this bear. No one is trying to get money for the pot for the first like 10 minutes. Nobody finds the bear. So we get this little funny like clip of the people in the castle just kind of like tapping their feet, waiting on people to call them. Thought that was great. But then we get the shining moment of this entire segment, which is Tom Sandoval karaoke hour. I will say this about Tom Sandoval. This is probably my single favorite moment from this entire season to this point. Outside of Welcome to the Stage Misguided. That was delightful. So we get Tom Sandoval is pretty much the only person that is literally the only person that is hearing these dolls, running to the phone, singing these things backwards, and they finally score a few points. And then they're all outside, and Sierra happens to look down, see the bear, grabs the bear, and grabs the shield. So Sierra is the only person with a shield from this challenge. That's the only shield on offer. But they do manage to get all 4 nursery rhymes and get $20,000 for the pot, which is great for them. I will be 100% honest. I don't know how they managed to get these nursery rhymes with the sounds that they had.
They might be a little liberal with the time they give them.
I didn't even think. I don't know how they got it from the sounds they had. That's what I'm saying. Because I will give this to Tom. He tried. He actually did try, but nope.
My favorite thing was like he would have like whole like warm-up sessions, and he would just be like singing to that doll like as he's on the porch of the cabin. He would just be taking it so seriously, and then he would just go up there and just sing, and he was so earnest the whole time he sang. And the first time that he did it, Sam is listening, and he goes, "Terrible singer," which is not true. Actually, Tom has a pretty good voice, and he sounded good on The Masked Singer too. But yeah, that whole segment was just really funny to me.
I think, it was funny. But congrats to the group for getting this money. I'm very happy for them. Because they've been needing some cash. Let's keep it 100. But they managed to make a whole 20K for the pot. And then we go back, and no one knows from the castle who got the shield. Everyone at the cabin knows who got the shield. And it seems like that's what they're trying to keep it as. It seems like everybody's on the same page. Nobody's going to be sharing anything. And everybody's kind of just, we're not telling them. We want to see what we can get out of this. And we all kind of want to be safe. Because if none of them know who it is, and if they're all the traitors, well, none of us are going to get murdered. So there you go. But what ends up happening, we go back to the castle, and then strategy ensues.
Yeah, it even ensues on the way to the castle, because we find out that a lot of people want to target Sierra because of the whole...
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, y'all.
Yay!
Yeah, we find out that people want to target Sierra because of the whole strategy to get rid of the people in the coffins. And we also know that Sierra is thinking about Brittany and Danielle to some level. It's got to be at least one of them. So we see on the way back from the challenge that those are probably going to be some of the names that we're hearing.
Well, we also get a lovely soundbite where they're convinced that the other traitors have to be women. Which
they clocked that tea.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, they are correct, but I will say this is another one of those situations of a correct read is not necessarily a good read, because I don't know if anybody saw season 3 of Traitors UK, but
well, I that was a way for a specific reason, and it was a direct response to the way the traitors were selected in season 2. So I think that's a fluke. You don't have to usually worry about all of the traitors being one gender. I think it makes a lot of sense to start looking at women, even though that's not what I want them to do.
I mean, they're outnumbered. Like the bros, they got together. They're like, listen, we are outnumbered. We already got 2 traitors out of here. They weren't women. Like, we got to start looking at these chicks, and they were right to clock that. Like, and you still got some gamers in there, you know? So, but then they're like, yeah, we got some gamers in here, but it's Sierra.
Right.
Like, why?
Oh, I think their mistake is letting any of the women know that they're thinking about that. Because if I'm a traitor, if I'm a woman, And I know that people are really focused on getting a woman traitor out. Okay, I'm just murdering men from here on out. Only men until there's only women. And then, oh, yeah, it's a woman. Yeah. Okay. Well, choose one.
Especially considering there are, at this point in the game, right? I mean, even before the banishment, right? There are 6 women and 4 men left in the house, right? In the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Murdering a woman makes those numbers even, but it also, I mean, after the banishment, of course, makes those numbers even, but also again, after the banishment, which
then it's 5-4.
Yeah, and that's 5-4. But murdering a woman makes those numbers even, but it also reduces the amount of people you can hide behind.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, murdering men, love seeing it. Go full misandry, I'm down. But we also get a few other cute little things that happen in this section. We get Danielle and Carolyn having like a quick little 2-second chat of, are we good? Yeah, we're good. Okay, move on. And I appreciated that. I'm happy for them. I am happy for them. I don't know if either of them believe it, but I'm happy for them.
I don't know about that, if that was good for them, though, because Dylan was in the room with the other 2.
That was after. That was after.
Oh, that was after. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. We'll get to it. So we head to the round table. And I'll be honest, at this point, I kind of figured where everything was going. I wasn't happy about it. And quite frankly, this round table was kind of icky to watch, I'll be honest. But
yeah, the only thing I knew for sure was that Danielle was not going. And it's because at every time you see what she's wearing around the round table, it's like, oh, okay, I know for a fact there's a different look that she's going to wear at some point in the season. Unfortunately, I know she's wearing that next week, so I'm nervous.
The Monopoly hat.
Right.
Yeah.
But was this the first time Alan mentioned the fact that at the end, nobody's going to reveal if they're a traitor when they're banished?
They mentioned it during the premiere as well.
Okay.
But this is the first time they brought it up again.
Okay. I couldn't remember if they had.
So, like, moving forward, they're not going to reveal anymore.
It should be just in the finale.
Just when they get to the circle at the end.
Yeah. Well, even inside. Even
at the final banishment?
Even at the final banishment. Just all of the banishments from the finale, nobody will reveal.
Oh, I thought it was like moving forward, like from this point on. Oh, okay. All right. Well.
Yeah. And Sierra opens the floor at the round table, and she's like, look, I know you all are suspicious of me. I know I'm probably going home. But let me just try to explain why this logic is faulty. And I think, honestly, she did a pretty good job at that. And I think they had already made up their minds. And I think they were like, you know what? It's not me. I don't even think she's a traitor. And we heard that from a few people of, I don't even think she's a traitor. But it's not me going, and I'm fine with that. And
yeah, but women are better cheaters.
Oh, God. Tom Sandoval.
The gift that keeps giving.
The 40-inch slip of Tom Sandoval in this episode of saying women are better cheaters. Which also, Bud, the call is coming from inside the house on that one.
Like, that was, like, if anybody thinks that was clearly a mistake, like a slip of the tongue. He meant traitors. Yeah. Because I think he would be the first to be like, yeah, men are more likely to cheat.
But it just seems like there's nowhere for Sierra to really go in this round table. I think they all made up their mind beforehand. She fights as good as she can, and she tells them, look, what's going to end up happening is you're going to vote me out. I'm going to go to the circle. I'm going to tell you were faithful. You're going to have wasted another round of the thing just to put the stupid coffin theory to bed, all because I told the traitors I was going to be coming after them, which is what all of you are trying to do right now. And she's 100% right. Like, there's not a single part of that that's wrong. I just don't think...
but traitors also say the same thing. So,
well, I mean, obviously they do. But, I mean, again, I don't know how Sierra could have gotten out of this.
No, she couldn't have.
Yeah.
They were coming for her weeks ago, and I think definitely her being one of the like advocates for Rob really is what sunk her because she was taking up for Rob so hard. I mean, they did that challenge and he got her through that, so I could see why she was trying to like take up for him. But it's like, girl, you sticking your neck out for the wrong person, and then that just really sunk her. That's why they ultimately landed back on her. I feel like if she wasn't so like gung-ho about like it can't be Rob, then maybe she could have got by.
Yeah.
And Brittany had this weird logic of like, oh, you're laying really low, and that's what a traitor would do, even though Bob and Rob were not laying low at all. I'm like, you're just saying that because it fits the narrative that you want to push. You want her to go and not you.
It's confirmation bias, okay? And a lot of the time, it's what we're seeing on the Traitors is these people are like, I think you're a traitor, and I'm gonna bend the truth and the facts and everything to make it seem like you're a traitor. And and then when you announce that you're a faithful to the entire castle, it's like, huh? What? Like,
I do think Danielle defended herself fairly well in this roundtable because Sierra brings up the fact that Jeremy was pointing sus on her, and then he's murdered, and Danielle's like, okay, well, I voted for Rob twice. I've lost this friend of mine. I've lost this friend of mine. I've lost this friend of mine. A bunch of my friends have been murdered. And it's true because like you can't use one example and then like just ignore the other examples that
she ate that up.
She did.
She ate that up. That was good justification. She was catching some heat or whatever. But even still, like I think Sierra was making good points about their alliance too, the Big Brother alliance. Like who's gonna get them? They have each other. Like everybody else is kind of a lone wolf in the game. There's no other like known duos. So at least let's try to break that up. But I guess that's something for maybe next week.
It is, and the week after. I fully expect Brittany and Danielle to be the next two to go.
Yeah,
they cannot let anything go on this show ever.
As long as my girl Carolyn is still in there cooking, I could care less, to be honest.
Oh, I love Danielle so much, though. This is why I don't like the US, because I just get my heart broken when my favorites that I've invested 20 years in fandom in just go on there and they get embarrassed. And I hate watching it. I hate it.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we do lose Sierra here by a unanimous vote, which I believe is the first time this season I know it's the first time this season. One of the very few times I can't remember another unanimous vote ever on the Traitors US, other than like Final Five area. Because I know Kate, when she got banished in season 1, it was unanimous, but I mean that was like a Final Five, so do with that what you will. But Sierra is out of here, and we get another interesting moment happening right after the roundtable. We kind of mentioned it a minute ago. We have Ivor, Sam, and Dylan are all in the wine cellar, and they're just having a chat about one of the two of us is getting murdered tonight.
It's sad that they know strategy better than the Traitors do about how to handle tonight's murder, because obviously they should go.
But then Carolyn and Danielle are in the room right outside the wine cellar, and they have a conversation. And Carolyn kind of mentions, Danielle mentions, I'll talk to you about it in the turret, right? Not super loud, not like yelling it or anything. But then Dylan comes out of the wine cellar. I don't know if he heard them or not. I don't think he did.
No.
But it is a little interesting to see the two of them just chatting after, Carolyn threw Danielle under the bus at the round table, and Danielle has went after Carolyn a little bit. Like, we've seen the cracks here, and I think this could be really bad for both of them if they don't find a way to salvage it quickly.
See,
absolutely.
I got it more that he felt like he got caught. Like he got caught in a situation because, I'm in here with these guys in a secret room talking. So I felt like he was the one with his pants down. But why was Carolyn like, as soon as the door started open, Carolyn's like, quick, hide Danielle. And I'm like, what do you expect her to do? Like jump behind the couch? That wouldn't look suspicious.
I think it's funny that you said that about Dylan feeling like he got caught, because I think that Carolyn did say something like, "Oh, well, that's suspicious."
Right.
Yeah. I would say Carolyn played it off great, as usual with Carolyn.
And thank you, Danielle, for not jumping behind the couch and looking really sus.
Yes, exactly. I think the only thing that scares me about this, though, is that obviously the three guys were in there, right? Like, if Danielle gets called out, then they're going to be able to clock that her and Carolyn were having a conversation, right?
Hmm.
Which, like, after coming for each other, I mean, well, these faithfuls don't be clocking clearly, like as we've seen, but I just feel like nervous about it because it is end game. Like, somebody asked Carolyn this episode what happened between her and
Right.
Danielle from weeks ago. Who was that?
Was it
Tom.
Ivor
I'm saying
or Tom? Okay.
Tom.
Oh, there go Tom. He's starting the clock again. There go my boy. But yeah, like, so like if people start hearing that they're like all of a sudden buddy buddy and all this stuff, it's like, I don't know if that gets around. It could be a bad look, but I'm gonna have faith in my girls that they'll get out of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it. I wouldn't think it's going to be a damning conversation because I'm sure everybody has conversations with everybody, and it was like they've had 2 whole roundtables since that blow up, so people might just be thinking like, oh, they're just talking, seeing where each other's heads are at. Like I wouldn't read too much into it.
Okay.
So we go to the turret. After all of this mess happens, all the chaos happens, we're down to 9 players in the castle. And then we find out that because it's the day after Rob got murdered, they now have the opportunity to recruit if they want to, or they can just murder.
Murder.
It's
clear.
Oh my days, murder.
Now, I will say, I get where Danielle is coming from. On a fundamental level, the idea of, well, if they're trying to find a girl that's a traitor, let's just make one of the other girls a traitor, let her get banished, and then that'll take a little bit of the heat off of us, right? I get it. Here's the problem with that. If nobody dies tonight, right? If nobody dies tonight, then you know that the person who got the shield is already out because Sierra went home. So it's not somebody was murdered with a shield and they're safe, which means they're going to know there was either at least an attempted recruitment, right?
Which Carolyn didn't even believe that Sierra had the shield.
Yeah, which was very funny. Danielle did try to tell her the truth, and Carolyn wasn't like believing her at all. Can't blame her, to be honest.
Yeah, me either. I would not trust Danielle. Let me tell you, after the stuff she's pulled, I would not be trusting her.
So I really feel like they are both wrong about this situation, right? Because Carolyn is saying, well, if we're recruiting, I'll recruit anybody but Brittany, right? If you're gonna recruit, you should recruit Brittany. Because out of all the women that you're trying to pin this blame on, she's the only one that has heat on her right now. So you could let Brittany take the heat off you all and get banished because, let's be real, it's probably going to be either Danielle or Brittany next week. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Recruiting Gabby, now, if Carolyn is trying to get rid of Danielle and replace her with Gabby, that makes sense. Do that. I fully support that. But I don't think that's what she's trying to do. So I think adding Brittany, if you're going to recruit, makes the most sense. But why are you not just murdering?
But Carolyn wanted to murder. She wanted to murder. And Danielle's like, well, we should maybe recruit. I think it's too late in the game to recruit, too. I feel like, I don't know, like, they have to be looking at several things, right, to like pull this off. They have to look at like their position with the other women, like, who do you have in your pocket or whatever? They each have like one of them in their pockets. Like Carolyn has Gabby, the other one has Brittany, right? Danielle has Brittany. So I feel like if you murder a dude, like y'all vote as a 4, like y'all could go to the end.
True.
I mean, you don't have to necessarily recruit. You could just murder a dude, banish a dude, and then.
Well, and here's the really interesting thing about all of this to me is that we have, 4 guys, right? Danielle knows that none of them have a shield, right? They could literally take their pick tonight. I honestly feel like we're going to get a situation where they're not going to come to an agreement and they're just going to murder somebody. Which I think is actually just better for both of them, to be 100% honest with you all. I think they should murder tonight.
Yes, I think so too.
Now let's just play the game now, okay? Because that is basically where we leave off. We leave off with them still trying to decide what they're going to do. Do you all think they're going to murder or recruit? And then who do you think they will either murder or recruit if they do either of those things?
I actually don't think they're going to murder. I think they're going to recruit. The main reason I think that is because we're running out of bodies. And if this is like, maybe the finale is episode 11, maybe it's episode 12. But if it's episode 12 and we keep having a murder and a banishment each episode, we're not going to have many people left in the finale. So I almost wonder if like they're being instructed like, hey, don't murder. We need to have enough episodes to fill the season. But in that case, I don't see Carolyn backing down, and I think Gabby would be the one recruited.
Or they could recruit later when Danielle gets inevitably banished.
True.
So Carolyn's not the only traitor. That we can always have a delayed recruitment. I think the fact that they left it on a cliffhanger is telling me that they're going to recruit. Unfortunately, I do think it's the wrong move, 100%. I really think it's a bad move. I don't think that they should. And I don't know. I don't think Danielle's going to back down either, though. I think I could see it being Brittany. I could see Carolyn being like, okay, whatever. Like, and it being Brittany just to like give them what you said, Brooke, like to give them like somebody who already has heat on them and be like, oh, we got another traitor. Like,
yeah, it makes sense because I think if Gabby does get recruited, Gabby is going to win this game.
Gabby's winning.
She's winning, and either of them might not be winning with her.
I think Carolyn and Gabby would win together if Gabby was the person that got recruited here. But I will say right now, I don't think they're recruiting this week. I think they're going to murder this week. And I think part of that comes down to the fact that what we have seen between Carolyn and Danielle is that neither one of them are willing to bow to the other person's wants and or needs. And I think in the same way that Carolyn doesn't want Brittany to be a traitor, I don't think Danielle wants Gabby to be a traitor. I think they've kind of gotten to that point with the two of them. They've also acknowledged that Dolores wouldn't accept. So why would they do that? And then they're not going to recruit a man. And I think when it comes down to that point, I don't see a reason for them to try to recruit this week. I think they're going to murder. Now, considering that they're probably going to murder a guy, if they're following the logic the right way, they'll probably murder a guy this week. I think it's a toss-up between Sam or Ivor, personally, and
which
I think
it shouldn't be.
Well, because Dylan is going to have heat on him no matter what he does because he has been so loud and vocal. He is you are more able to pin sus on Dylan than you are on pretty much the rest of the men. And nobody likes Tom Sandoval, so you can kind of just shove him out at any point.
Ivor should go because nobody's thinking about Ivor.
Yeah, but here's the problem though, and I think this is why I think they're going to end up murdering Sam this week. Ivor was in the dollhouse, right? And the only people that know who got the shield at the dollhouse were the people at the dollhouse. So if they murder Ivor, it suddenly puts suspicion on Danielle, Brittany, and who's the other person at the dollhouse? Gabby?
Sierra.
Gabby. Sierra's dead. Sierra, Ivor, and Gabby were the 5 people at the dollhouse. So suddenly it's putting suspicion on the 3 of them. I mean, that'd be great for Carolyn. But
it was Danielle.
It was Tom.
Wasn't it Danielle, Brittany,
and Tom,
Sierra,
Tom and
Ivor. So Gabby wasn't there.
Yeah, so it wasn't Gabby. So then you're putting more suspicion on Danielle and Brittany. I don't think Danielle's gonna want to do that, and I think they're gonna end up murdering Sam. Personally, I think it's probably the best move out of murdering the men, just because he's the least. I mean, okay, Ivor is very clearly, but out of the ones who were between Sam and Dylan, you murder Sam. I feel like you have more opportunity to banish Dylan than you do Sam. But that's just my perspective on it. If they do recruit, which I hope they don't, I don't know who they'd take at this point. because it would involve one of them just kind of giving up, and I don't think either one of them are the type to do that.
Maybe they need Rob there to like force them, like, sorry, neither of you will agree. Well, too bad, we're doing this instead.
Right. You need
Too bad.
I'm or any third.
Dylan Efron.
Probably.
Oh my gosh. I don't think he would do it.
Dylan.
At this
I think
point.
he should. If he was offered, I think he should.
He'd pull a Pilot Pete.
I think Sandoval would do it and probably be like so terrible at it because
he would be awful.
his ego would just like it would be so funny though. I mean, now it's getting to the end game. Like, who can you guys honestly see like making it there as of right now?
Yeah, I really do feel good about Gabby. I feel like she's gotten a consistent storyline throughout the season, even when she hasn't been integral to whatever's going on. So I could see her winning. I don't know if she wins as a traitor or as a faithful, but I think she's going to be there in the end.
I got full money on Carolyn at this point. I just every single person other than the traitors that have been banished have been shocked when they find out that Carolyn's a traitor. And nobody, even now that we're at the final 9, right? Nobody is saying her name. Even other than Danielle, no one has said her name all season, right? And because of that, I feel like Carolyn is going to have enough sus on her, just this much sus, right? Where people are going to kind of skate over her and not go after her, because I feel like Danielle and Brittany are going to be the target, especially if they get Brittany first. So I think if they get Brittany first, they're going after Danielle the week after. And I think that's going to allow Carolyn a lot of time to just kind of move the pieces around, get rid of more men. And then suddenly you're at a final 5 with all women and probably like Dylan Efron.
I think it really depends on how Danielle goes and how involved, like openly, Carolyn is in it, because Danielle's not going to go down without a fight, and she's definitely going to push back on Carolyn. And when we see that happen with the traitor going out, like really adamant about somebody else, that's probably because they're a traitor too. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes back to bite her in the end. Plus, I know like if Danielle goes, there will be like a required recruitment. Like it will be the situation where you're either recruited or you're murdered on the spot. So Carolyn would have to move on with another traitor.
It's going to be Gabby. She's going to scoop up Gabby. If they don't do it this week, she's going to definitely do it when Danielle goes. And then they both going to win together, hopefully, and that would eat. I would love that.
I would love to see traitors win together for the first time.
Has it never happened in UK either?
No.
Because I only saw the ending of UK 2. I know how that ends. But
it almost happened in Australia.
Oh my gosh. That was iconic. And
saw that.
He played himself. That's Sticky Weasel. I hated him.
Same.
Oh my God. Like
the best downfall for a villain.
Yeah, and my boy Jack Black got robbed. I was so tight. He needed that money for his baby. Anyway.
Well, with a quick draft update, everybody in the draft is down to 3 players. So that's really fun. So it's anybody's game. Jack is probably winning because he has Carolyn, but you know, hey,
who has Gabby though?
Me? Question mark? I don't recall who has Gabby. Okay, I'm going to show you an outdated graphic. We did not get the updated graphic, just so I can note that Chriselle and Sierra are both out. So Jack has Gabby, Jack has Carolyn, and Jack has Ivor. And then my team is Brittany, Tom, and Dolores, and then Lana is down to Danielle, Dylan, and Sam. So
I
Jack
think you're
is
in
a
the
very
worst
good
spot,
position. What was that?
I think you're in the worst spot.
I mean, I did have to draft last, and I also got stuck with Tom Sandoval, and I was not happy about that. But hey, you all let us know who you think is going to make it to the end of this season, who you think is going to walk home with all of this money, or if nobody's going to walk home with all this money, a la Australia. Thank you very much.
I'll make a seduction for you, Brooke. I remember listening during the draft, and you were like, "I'd rather have one less person on my team than have Tom Sandoval. How about you give Tom to me and B, and we'll win."
Yes,
with Tom.
we will be Team Tom. Yes.
Well, unfortunately for you all, the teams have been locked up, and the not present for cast draft video, those slots are already gone because Derek and West, they're out of here. Sorry about it. But Team Logan, dead. But beside the point. Let us know below who you guys think is going to win this season, who you think they're going to murder this week, or if they're going to recruit, or if they're going to recruit and then surprise murder. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Make sure to hit that big subscribe button, punch that notification bell, give us a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, do all of that stuff because trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I really hope that we can at least, get close to that goal at the bare minimum. And we're doing a good job. We appreciate everybody that's already here. Thank you so much for supporting us. Don't forget to buy your merch, including but not limited to your cup mug at laundrycreations.etsy.com.
B has one on the way.
It's on the way. I did order mine.
That link is in the description down below. So make sure you look down there and find it because, how else are you going to show that you love us so much? Thank you. And you can follow all of us on our socials. The ticker is already gone, but if you just rewind about 50 seconds, you'll see it again. Actually, I'll just put it back up real quick. Boom. There are our socials. All of our socials are down below as well. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at The Cup Pod as well. And I think it's time that we get out of here. So thank you guys for tuning in, but we're going to have to head out. And cheers, everybody. Cheers.